Namaste and welcome to Nari Shakti, an inspiring series by Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative of Government of India to celebrate 75 years of progressive India. With Nari Shakti, we are celebrating women experts from various themes and fields who are enablers for women empowerment. Hi, I'm your host Dhara. I run Humane Club, which helps small businesses, think tanks, and media with websites. Our guest for this session is Rajkala ji, founder of Sharana, a social and development organization in Pondicherry. Sharna has been working with grassroots community with areas of focus being women and children. Her knowledge and vision stems from her experience working in the development sector for past 28 years. Hi Rajkala ji, welcome to Nari Shakti. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me over. And it has just been a very organic growth. And I don't know, since the beginning, since I was in college, I've always wanted, uh, I've always wanted, to ensure that there is not more than ensure to see equal access for either education, healthcare, and so there's always been this quest in me, and wanting to do something for a Matribhumi. And it stems from that. And Sharana was founded in 2000. And that's when I began this journey to work with people in Pondicherry. It wasn't easy in the beginning, I must say, because there are multiple problems that I was facing, and but again, it was at the same time it was easier also for me to understand where the work is needed. So the bulk of our programs, as I started working in different areas in Pondicherry, was very clear that we have to focus on women and children. So yes, that's how it began.
Amazing. I think Sharna has this flagship program called Women's Social Entrepreneurship, which works with underprivileged women at grassroots level. So, how does the program empower and make women financially independent? Do you have a story of positive change that you'd like to share with us?
Absolutely. It is, it was when we started Sharana 22 years ago. As I told you, that the primary focus was in the beginning to send children back to mainstream education. But the philosophy of our organization has always been to work in a very holistic way. And when I say holistic way, it is never to take the child away from the family, but to involve the participation of the families, which obviously includes the mothers, the women. And when we started working with children, we noticed and we realized that, to bring about a change, it was always easier for us to work with women because just the sheer fact that they want a better life for their children. And so when we started, when the program of Back to School was established, it was only natural for us to start focusing on women. And the only way to go about it was to empower them. Now, when we talk about empowerment, it is, it is at every level, and starting definitely with financial and economic independence. So we started identifying different women from the villages and urban areas where we were working. Initially, we started working with the villages, and it was absolutely wonderful and truly inspiring for us to see that women have that desire to want a change in their lives, and we were just catalysts. And very soon we realized that yes, it was an economic empowerment program for women. We wanted to give a collateral interest-free loan to start an economic activity, but very soon we realized that, as an organization, Sharana was creating a platform for these women to come together and discuss, various issues. So, because somewhere down the line, all the problems are similar, right? I mean, alcoholic husbands, abused by their family members, and lack of access to education. So very soon we realized that, Sharana was more like an organization where we were providing this platform for these women to come and talk about their issues, which kind of really proved to be an empowering and a meaningful platform. And we've had some amazing stories in the beginning when we started working with them. Imagine these women did not even know how to count. And the very first meeting, I remember when we organized a meeting, we wanted to talk and discuss about this women's empowerment program. I mean, there were like 90 women, and in less than 5 minutes, all of them ran away. They all disappeared, and we were left with only 3 or 4 women. And that's when we realized, okay, we need to start work from the base, and we need to give them the courage, we need to give them the confidence. And again, as I repeat, it did not take us much time. It took us few months, and the sheer grit and determination with which the women came forward to improve and better their living conditions was truly, truly remarkable. We have had success stories like for example, we were working in a village called Angalapukam, not very far from Pondicherry, and that is an agricultural belt sandwiched between, it's in Tamil Nadu, sandwiched between Pondicherry. And most of the women were asking for a loan to buy cows because that's an agricultural community. And so we as an organization were there to study, of course, the viability of the project, but the ideas always came from the women. And what was interesting at that point, I mean, I have multiple success stories to say, but I mean, truly, if I have to sum it up, what was truly inspiring was that the, the kind of innovation and creativity that they were always coming up in these meetings to better their prospect for loan. For example, one thing that just comes to my head right now is that all of them took the money to buy cows, and there was a massive increase in the number of cows, the dairy in that village, dairy farm in that village. And there was this one woman who had also given the application to buy a cow, and very soon she realized that she would rather get the money to buy the cattle feed, to start a cattle feed shop. And that was extremely innovative on her part. And imagine she's starting a cattle feed shop in that village. There was none at that time. And all the women were coming to get the cattle feed from her shop. So we've had some amazing successful stories, and all of them with sheer grit, determination, and resilience.
Wow, that sounds very powerful and inspiring. I'm actually very curious to learn more about. Can you share maybe one more, more such instances where the women were empowered either through your program or otherwise?
Yes. So, what was, I don't want to restrict this entire women's economic, this empowerment program, social entrepreneurship program, even though it's a flagship program to help these women to start an economic activity. But as I keep repeating that, we more work like created a platform for these women to come and share their problems. And I remember one such meeting where, we were talking about the percentage of school dropouts amongst girls is quite high. I mean, those days it was pretty high. Now with our intervention, it has dropped a lot. It has dropped down. But there was a time when the girls, the minute they attained puberty, the education was stopped for these girls. And I have to say very strongly that, as an organization working towards empowerment of women and children, the women were the ones who took the responsibility of ensuring to continue to support the education of the children. So what came out of this women's program was not just an economic empowerment, but also the fact that, they wanted and ensured a better life for the children. So the number of percentage of school dropouts reduced marginally, and it would be fair to say that it was just not the work done only by us, but the fact that these women were coming together, meeting without us as an organization, and taking the responsibility, and ensuring that the girls should be empowered through education. And then there was always this point of discussion or this contention about what happens next. Yes, we have started the women's economic empowerment program, but what happens to the savings? What happens to important issues, or capacity building? And the women have always come forward to request or to ask us to whether it is savings, to introduce them to different banks, or yeah, I mean, so yeah. So we've had multiple stories, and I really don't know. I'm a little lost which one to say, except for this cattle feed is something that has stayed with me for a very, very long time. because of sheer innovation. And then things like, for example, there was a widow who took a loan, and she wanted this to start a idli batter shop. And when she started, her house did not have the electricity. So she was going to a neighboring village to grind the batter, come back and sell in the village. And with the money that she made, she ensured that her house was got electricity. And she took a top-up loan, and then she got a grinder for herself. And very soon, this widow with two children was not dependent on her in-laws anymore. And that was a huge step for somebody like her in the village. And it was also marvelous to see the kind of support that the other women in the village gave her. And again, I mean, this is, I'm talking of many years ago, when the position of women was also quite challenging. I mean, so to say. And as an organization, again, as I keep repeating, that we are just here as catalysts. And do not we do not enter a village or a community with our own structured solutions. No, we are just here as catalysts, and the ideas have always come from them. And this is something that we have ensured, and the women have been truly remarkable, truly remarkable.
Thank you so much, I think, for sharing those stories. They are really motivating. Like going ahead, what is your dream and aspiration? Like, where do you want to take Sharana from here?
Wow, I mean, I don't even think about this is, I mean, we are just working on the organization has grown or continues to grow organically. And the programs are rolled in or rolled back purely based on the ground reality alone. So, whenever the needs are dictated by the community, as an organization, we answer to those needs. And yes, the bulk of our programs focuses on women and children, and we would like to ensure that children have access to education, and women are definitely should be empowered. And bulk of the programs in the next few years will be focusing on education and creating social entrepreneurs in the communities where we are working, and create a robust social business model for the women.
And my last question for today: what is one message that you'd like to share to all these strong and powerful women of India?
Well, for me, I would say that education is empowerment, right? And access to knowledge and information for me is the first step towards empowerment, and is a strong catalyst for sustainable development in all aspects of our lives. So I really would like to share that, to tell the women that education is the key to empowerment. So let's work hard, truly hard, to empower the communities and empower the women to access to education.
Thank you, Rajkala ji, for sharing all these inspiring stories with us. Thank you so much for joining us today.